Hello and welcome back to more Dragon's Lair 3D Return to the Lair. Well, last time we played through the first section of the game and we obtained our first essence, that being the Dragon's Ring of Power. And with it, a new ability is ours, the Whirlwind Sword Attack. And we're going to give that Whirlwind Sword Attack, my controls are all out of whack. I'm curious why that might be the case. Give me a second. There we go, that's better. For some reason, control was bound to my draw sword button instead of my run button. Anyway, Whirlwind Sword Attack. Let's give it a go, and everybody dies. Everybody dies. Yeah, so, Whirlwind Sword Attack. Pretty powerful. Very, very powerful indeed. Alright, well, come on. Wake up. Actually, let's use it again. No reason not to use it again. I'll do a small one this time. Yeah, I already hit him once, so there was no need to spend extra mana on the second level of that, because there's two levels to the Whirlwind Sword Attack. There's that first level where it's just kind of a purplish, pinkish thing, and then there's a second level where it turns yellow. In fact, I'm just going to use a Whirlwind Sword Attack here as well, and use the rest of my mana, because there's a mana container right here. So it didn't really matter how much mana I used right there. And yeah, now we have two resources to manage. We have our health, and we have our mana. And we're going to be using mana quite a bit as we go through the game. We're not going to be using too much mana for this video, but spoiler alert, the more essences we unlock, I guess it's not really a spoiler, the more essences we unlock, the more mana we're gonna be using per episode, and there's a lot of essences in this game, so mana management is going to become essential the further on we go. Alright, easy treasure to grab right there. There's a total of 4 we can get in this level, and of course, I will be showing you all in the more, but there's not gonna be another one for a while, because now we have a bit of a stair chase sequence. We gotta outrun the stairs before they kill us by disappearing behind us. So that's the game plan here moving forward. Yeah, the Whirlwind Sword Attack has got 2 levels. The level 1, which is purple, and then level 2, which is yellow. So don't always need to use the super powerful second level, because if you hit him once, that'll knock him down a little bit, and then you can save some mana by just using the level 1 of the Whirlwind Sword Attack. And actually, this time I'll use the level 2, because I may as well, and boom. Yeah, it's, as you can see, very powerful, but not always a get-out-of-jail-free card for every situation, because, for one thing, the only reason why I've been able to use it so consistently is because all the enemies we've been facing so far have been Giddy Goons, and we won't always be facing Giddy Goons because, well, there's a lot more types of enemies in this game than that. But also because they've always been grouped up really nicely for us, and they won't always be grouped up nicely for us either. Okay, so the game wants us to go this way, and I will go this way just to show you guys something real quickly. But you may notice, once you reach the end of this hallway, let me just block, I didn't need to block that, because it wasn't actually anywhere near me. You'll notice there's a bit of a hallway down there, and it looks like I should be able to walk down there, but I can't. Or at least, it doesn't look like I can. But what happens if you try to follow the path around and see if there's a way you can access it this way? Turns out there is a staircase that leads down into this hallway. Very sneaky passageway that you gotta really look around hard to find, because it's pretty well hidden in the corner. You gotta somersault your way through there. But once you know it's there, it's a nice little secret that we can get back here. And it's just, because when I first played this game as a kid, I obviously didn't know where all the secrets were. I never completed this game. I didn't complete this game 100% until I was, I don't know, probably late elementary school was when I first played this game 100%. Also, heart container right there. Not a collectible that counts towards unlocking the, I didn't mean to fall. That counts towards unlocking the cheat codes, because you don't actually, the only thing you need to do to unlock the cheat codes is to just earn all of these collectibles, which those being the bags of gold, the goblets, the diamonds, and the crowns. You don't actually need to get the heart containers or mana containers, but I strongly advise that you do, because they're going to make things very, very helpful. Ow. Sorry. It's going to make things a lot easier as we go throughout the game, because things are pretty easy for the time being, but by the end game, they're going to launch a lot of super powerful bosses and enemies at us. So, the bigger your health and mana bars are, the happier you will be. Trust me. Which is also why I'm intrigued as to how hard it'll be for me to do a run of this game where I don't get any of the extra health. I think, honestly, not getting the extra mana containers will probably be a bigger detriment than not getting the extra health containers, especially because it basically means I just can't ever use the Dragon Spirit, which you don't know what that is yet if you haven't played this game, But the Dragon Spirit is arguably the most powerful, or at least the most helpful of all the essences that you can use. But because of that, it also eats up the most of your mana by a country mile. It's not even close in terms of mana consumption. The Dragon Spirit is just the clear winner in terms of how much mana it takes. So, I'm curious to see how a run of this game not getting any of those upgrades would do. But the point of what I was saying here is that you don't need to get those to count 100%, but I strongly advise that you do, and of course, if you aren't interested 100%, I still strongly advise that you at least follow along so you know where all the special heart and mana upgrades are. Because that, if nothing else, that will make your life much, much easier in this game. Now then, this room is pretty neat, because it's just all the platforms you need to jump across are all connected to the central... oh my lord, why did I got distracted? I should not have gotten distracted. I got distracted talking about the level design. That I forgot to pay attention to the enemies in front of me. It's all connected to this one giant spinning pillar in the center. So you can just keep moving it bit by bit to get further and further along up in the room. And I haven't really had to explain any of the treasures, because for the most part they're all pretty straightforward. Except that one. The one over there takes a little bit more prep work, but not really. It's more just one you gotta notice, and once you notice it, it's pretty easy to grab. But it's very, very easy to miss the diamond that's hidden on that platform down there. Because a lot of players will just run along the upper walkways and not even paying attention to what's down there. So it's not super hidden, but also not quite right out in the open. Okay, this. So the way I recommend you getting through this is block the crossbow shot, then immediately leap across. Because what happens to a lot of new players is they will assume that they can cross the gap in time for him to not shoot you the crossbow. But new players are always wrong when they think that, so it's much, much safer to wait for him to block the shot. Sorry, wait for him to fire a shot, block it, and then you know with absolute certainty that you will have enough time to jump across the gap before he shoots you again. Yeah, this one's not that bad to get, because you just gotta go down super low on the chain, and then jump across to grab it. It's just finding that diamond that's the tricky part. But all the treasures in this room have been pretty straightforward. They've all been rather out in the open. And for some reason, I don't know why I got stinted there for a moment. Alright, let's see if I can launch these guys off the level. I sure can. Got them both. That's a 2-for-1 right there. I can't always get them both. Sometimes I only am able to knock one of them off, and sometimes I'm so bad I can't knock any of them off. But that's very, very satisfying. When you don't even have to fight them, you can just knock them in front of that wooden block right there, and it'll shove them off for you. Big fan. Big fan of whenever I can manage to pull that off. Just letting the level design do my job for me. Okay, risky jump. Wasn't super confident in whether I was actually going to be able to make that jump, but I figured, why not? Why not pull off? Because the ultimate speedrunning strat is to jump from there to there and then right back to there and then just skip all the Giddy Goons, but that's a lot riskier because then you have to make two relatively tricky jumps while dealing with enemies around you. And just double check, yep, still got on treasures. I shouldn't need to double check because I know this game backwards and forwards at this point, but it puts my mind at ease to know for sure that I'm all set. And now for the furniture, also known as basically impossible to defeat. Their hitboxes are kind of jank, and I'm not quite sure why they're here. Also, I don't think I pointed it out last time, but if you actually look at those books, I'm trying to get a good angle. That might be good enough. You can actually see that it says Dragon's Lair on the front cover. That's cool. And now that we have a mana bar, we also, of course, have mana potions that I want to save for certain situations as we go throughout the game. You definitely don't want to waste all your potions early game. I mean, they're pretty generous with how often they give you potions. As you can see in this room, there's a health potion on the table to my immediate right, but still, and you'll burn through them pretty quickly. As well, I guess I say that I probably won't burn through them quickly because I've gotten pretty used to the game to the point where I don't often find myself needing health potions, but a lot of players will have to rely on potions as a crutch, which is understandable. So you definitely want to be you want to try to conserve your potions as best you can. Alright, this room, grab the gold, jump through the hole before it crushes you. You gotta be quick. They're pretty generous, honestly, with how how much time you have to grab that treasure before the wall seals shut on you. And the clothes gonna come through the wall? Or come out of the closet? No? Ah, there you go. Okay, yep, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Usually they come out faster than that, but I guess they were waiting just to be a troll this time around. Also, if you attack the paintings, this happens. Weird. Very weird sound effect that plays. Ah, the spinning globe room. Neat little puzzle / combat challenge. So basically what you gotta do here, run for this platform, stand on it, and then block to block any incoming, I was gonna call them planets, like, I don't know, moons? The mini moons that are orbiting the planet up there that they launch at you. You don't even need to attack them, you just block them like this. And then you want to keep standing on this until that platform is lined up with that one over there, and then same thing here. This one you want to make it rise a little higher up. Not today. Not today, sir. And then once it's perfect, you can... Ow. Once it's perfectly lined up in a sort of staircase fashion, you can run for the ladder and then jump your way across. So yeah, can be a little annoying to have to deal with the I'm just gonna call them moons, the floating moons like that. But so long as you block in their general direction, they can't really hit you, which means you can stand on the circular platforms pretty consistently without worrying about getting hit by them. Neat little challenge. All right, now this room can be very tricky.
Remember, Dirk, within these towers, sound is the key.
Thanks, Daphne. So the key to this room is going to be defeating this guy first and foremost, so that he can't mess with you. I might even recommend that you deal with both crossbow goonies. I keep calling them goonies. Both crossbow giddy goons before you even start with it, because the goal here is to hit both bells within a time limit. Fortunately, the time limit is... I feel like I said the word generous way too many times this video, but it's a very, very generous time limit that you have to hit both these bells. But, so, it's definitely much easier to, if you take out both Giddy Goons first, because then you have no risk of getting shot out off the rope, like what could have happened to me right there, by the crossbows. So that's the safe way to do it, but it's also the long way to do it, and I'm experienced enough to where I don't really need to take them out first, but if you're new to the game, I recommend playing it safe and doing that. Also, another one of those not very well hidden, but also not super obvious, because a lot of players will just run right past this and completely miss that the treasure's even there. So, nice little hiding spot, and whirlwind sword attack. Boom. This tower can be a little frustrating to deal with, because there's going to be some spikes on these, oh my lord, okay. There was a small little gap there. I tried to be fancy and I screwed it up. I was trying to do some speedrunning tactics to get my way up this tower as fast as possible, but that didn't work out too well for me because I wasn't close enough to the top to actually jump up. I thought I was. It kind of looked like I was close enough, but evidently I wasn't. Alright, am I close enough to get up here? No! I sure am! Okay. That is some... See, that's what I mean by speedrunning tricks. Because you're supposed to wait until the spike ball is far, far above above your head, so that you don't run the risk of jumping into it while you're climbing. But obviously, if you're quick enough, you don't have to worry about that. But it's also very risky to do that, so your mileage may vary with that one. Okay, this one's a little tricky. Don't shoot me, thank you. Thanks for not shooting me off the platform. And I think that's the loss of the Giddy Goons, so we should be able to just chill here for a moment. It's also the loss of the spike balls. Lost of the Giddy Goons, lost of the spike balls. So now we're just gonna chill here, wait for the elevator to come on down. There's a goblin on top of that beam, which is pretty easy to grab. Just jump out and then jump back. It's pretty much lined up with the wall, so you can kind of rebound off the wall when you jump. Oh, okay. Well, that was just a bad jump. That was just a bad jump on my part. But yeah, when you jump to get the goblin and jump back, you can rebound off the wall, and that'll act as a sort of buffer zone, so you can bounce back onto this elevator right here. All right, let's try this again. This time with less fail. There we go. That's what we had in mind. So the neat thing about this tower is that once you jump onto this rope and cross up above a certain point, like right around here-ish, it checkpoints you, which is good, because this is another very tricky jump to make, because if you miss this jump, you die immediately by touching the spikes. So we're going to wait to jump now. then turn around, jump up here, then crouch immediately, and then just slowly walk along to grab ourselves a goblet. Very narrow tightrope to walk here, and then we're going to jump onto the rope, immediately jump up here as fast as possible away from the Giddy Goons so that they can't bother us at all, and then everybody dies. Everybody dies. Death to all of you. Okay. Now, believe it or not, still more treasures to get. I feel like I'm talking too fast. Sorry if you're using this as a guide to get all the treasures and I'm talking too fast. But like I said, I'm not explicitly trying to create a walkthrough. I'm just kind of sharing some tips and tricks as we go throughout the level. But yeah, it's if you're expecting a slow, beat-by-beat, step-by-step breakdown of how to get all these things, I will not be providing that here. I'm just kind of trying to have some fun playing the game. And, oh my lord, okay, that was not part of the plan. Having fun playing the game, and also providing some tips as we go to try to get some of these treasures. So this one, probably the one I still struggle with the most, because it's a very precise angle. You got to jump up here to grab and then crouch. Yeah, that's very tricky. Basically, there's a lot of ways you can get up here. You can try to jump on by jumping into the corner and kind of using the wall to help stabilize your landing. You can do what I did and then grab from one side, which will sometimes tip you over the edge, and then reverse dirk immediately to then grab it from the other side. But it's still very, very, I feel like I've said this a lot as well, very narrow tightrope to walk, because there's a lot of treasures in this room specifically, including the ones that are going to be coming up ahead right here, where you have to basically be a circus professional tightrope walker to get them. In fact, I'm not even confident in my abilities here, so I am going to save the game just in case, because I don't trust myself to do this first try. Let's give it a go. Okay, we actually did it first try. Nice. We actually did it first try. And because that, I'm going to save again, so that when I inevitably die trying to get the other ones, or when that happens, well, guess I'll die. It's a nice thing about being able to save wherever you want, is that I can make checkpoints wherever I want. Now, it would be nice if the game had autosave, but, what can you do, I suppose? I really shouldn't be running up here. I really should not be running up here. This is a colossally terrible, and that is why you don't run. Let that be a lesson. Do not run on the beams. If you're a pro speedrunner, you can run on the beams, but I advise against it. It will often get you killed. I'm just surprised I actually made the jump up here first try. That'll be my victory for the day, is managing to get up, managing to jump up there on my first try. Now, the rest of this is just a classic chain jump to the end. You gotta jump across the chains before the spike walls close in on you. But they take a pretty decent amount of time to close, so you should be alright. Just make sure you're not too low on the chain, because if you're too low on the chain, then sometimes you'll jump too low onto the next chain, and then you'll just fall off and die. And you don't want to do that. And we are good on treasures. Now on to the next room, Platform Madness. This is probably the longest section of the game, thinking about it, because I kind of divide the game up in my head, and it's also how I'm going to divide it up for these episodes, by sections of the game in which you obtain a new essence. So at the end of this episode, we will obtain a new essence, and then the same will be true for the episode after that, and after that. I might mix up the pacing a little bit towards the middle of the game, when we get into some boss-heavy areas, but that's going to be this general structure for the time being. And as far if you divide the game up by how long it takes between each new essence that you acquire, I'm pretty sure this is the longest part of the game, because there's a lot of rooms here. Most of the other sections only have like 4 or 5 levels until you fight a boss and get an essence. But this one is like, I don't even know, 6 or 7, I think. It's quite a lot. More than any other section of the game, I'm pretty confident in saying. I also just like the skybox. I know you can't see a whole lot, but any chance you get to look outside the castle, I really love the way the hue that the sky gives off. It's very, very pleasant to look at. Now then, the jump of excuse me, sorry, the jump of death. Run and jump, but not too much. You want to stick kind of to the back of the platform there, so that you have enough wiggle room to be able to jump over that little beam. That beam is what I like to call a beginner's trap. It gets so many people killed, and I can't blame them. It's a pretty tricky jump to make if you're not expecting it. Now, very sneaky treasure coming up ahead. Now that I'm kind of thinking about it a bit more, there's a good chunk of treasures in this game that aren't really hidden in a traditional sense. Like, they're not... I mean, there are plenty of them that you have to do some cool puzzles things, or jump through secret passageways or things like that in order to... Like, things that really take you off the beaten path in order to find the treasures. But there's also a good chunk of treasures in this game where they are kind of in plain sight, but they're... Or, like, maybe not in plain sight. They're out in the open, but not in a super obvious place, if that makes sense. So, the average player won't find it, but also the average player could find it. One of those is this right here. It's just tucked behind this wall. Nice little hiding spot that also isn't too far out of the way. And it's nice that the platform actually slows down there to give you enough time to not only jump off the platform to land here, but also to grab that crown. Very much appreciated. And they made that change. I can usually do this in one shot without having to stop at all, but wanted to play it nice and safe today for the sake of the series. I've already screwed up enough today trying to get some of those treasures, and I don't want to make any more mistakes. And okay, yep. I had a bit of a panic attack when I saw 32 out of 36, but then I realized, oh wait, it's a new room. Of course, I'm not going to have all the treasures I need. Let's not beat ourselves up too soon here. And 2 of those 4 treasures are going to be right here. I'm not sure how I didn't fall there, but I didn't. I'm not going to question it. No fall is a good fall. No fall is indeed... Wait, no falls... That doesn't make any sense. What I just said makes no sense. No fall is a good fall. No fall isn't a fall, therefore it can't be a good fall. We're going to pretend that what I said made complete sense and just move along with it. That's what we're going to do. We're also going to ignore these knights, because as tempting as it is to fight them, we are on a bit of a time crunch, and I don't want to risk running out of time fighting them. We can fight them when we get back. We can fight them when we get back, and this is another one of those hit both bells before the time limit section, and we'll be having another one of those in just a moment. Also, I'm kind of running low on health, so I might want to drink one of my health potions before I go on to the next section. Especially because we're about to fight a boss, so the more health we have, the better off we will be. Oh, I have 4 health potions, yeah. It's always fascinating watching new people play this game, and just seeing how the difference in health potion amounts varies between players in terms of how often people have to use them, and how many potions people find. Because obviously I know where everything is, but not everybody does, which is... I really wish I could go back to playing this game for the first time again. Because what I was trying to say earlier when we were in the spiral stairs level, and I was talking about the secret passage in the corner of the area, the most rewarding experience I've ever had playing this game is the first time I did my 100% run, and I just explored every square inch of the castle. No, ow, that was not part of my plan. Remember last time I mentioned some moments where you want to just uninstall life? That's another one to add to the books of we don't talk about it. Approach it very slowly so I don't fall off this time. Now then, as I was saying, I still love playing this game, and I don't think I'll ever stop loving playing this game. However, if I were to compare my playthroughs, the most rewarding experience I've ever had was my first 100% run, where I didn't know where I didn't know where all the secrets were, so I had to really get creative with exploring all the little nooks and crannies and finding all the health upgrades and everything. It was so cool to be able to really push this game to its limits and find all the hidden secrets for the first time. Because now, at this point, I doubt there's anything about this game that I haven't found. If there is, then wow, it's very well hidden. But I haven't found it yet, and having played it for 20 years, you'd think I would have by now. But it has not happened yet. Also, I could jump back that way, but it's probably safer to just hop down here and climb up back up this chain. Yeah, so because of that, it's the sense of wonder and ambience and of the atmosphere of the castle is still there. That's never gonna go away. But the sense of discovery is definitely kind of gone, because obviously I know where everything is now, so there's really no sense of euphoria of discovering things for the first time again. Also, I kind of talked over, but that treasure I just got right there, kind of tricky, because you have to jump across 2 incredibly narrow beams in order to get it. But oh, that's a camera angle. That sure is a camera angle right there. That was an angle you chose to show of me being very, very much intimidated by Mr. Nightman here. Now then, let's not what we wanted to do there. Oh, wow, that was close. I very easily could have and probably should have fallen into the goo, but I didn't. Yeah, that up there, we had to jump across the 2 beams. Pretty tricky jump to make. The only advice I really have is just practice makes perfect, and ledge grab is your friend. And also, you might want to save on each beam to make sure you don't have to redo any jumps. Save before you jump onto the first beam, save when you jump onto the first beam, and then save when you actually jump on the last beam and get the treasure. So that there's no room for error and falling back down again, and you can enjoy that. Still wasn't enough to kill you guys, though, because knights are a lot tougher than they seem, like I said. Knights are a lot tougher than the Giddy-goons, so the Whirlwind Sword attack is not always going to be the be-all, end-all that you may think it is. We are good on treasures, which means we are good to face the Bat King, our second boss of the game. And what's cool about this boss is that it uses the same mechanics that it's been teaching to you throughout this entire section of the game so far, which is the bells. It won't be used immediately, of course, but once we enter the boss's second phase, those bells are going to come in handy, which is neat. Very much like how the game sets... That's the thing it does with pretty much all the bosses, is that it sets up a mechanic throughout the previous section, even if it's just an essence, that is pivotal to defeating it in the next section. Also, I hate when he lands there, because I can't hit him. So one spot in the entire room that if he lands there, you can't hit him, which is very much big sad. He's gonna land here, looks like... Nope, over here, okay. Wait, no? Oh, he pulled a switcheroo. Pulled a switcheroo on me, and really? Twice in a row, huh? Twice in a row. You're that big of a dick. You landed at the one place I cannot reach you 2 times in a row. That's lovely. That's just great. Thanks. Thanks, buddy. I love you. You're my best friend in the whole wide world. Okay, now he's gonna land over here. Right? He pulled the switcheroo again? Really? Really? 3 times in a row? You know, I feel like I didn't do anything to deserve this, Mr. Bat King. 3 times in a row you decided to screw me over by landing there, huh? Okay, that's cool. You know, I didn't actually want to attack you anyway. Attacking you is kind of overrated. Okay, finally he lands there. Finally, he actually let me hit him. Also, you may notice, haven't had to use a mana potion yet. It's because... Well, the only mana attack or the only essence we have that uses mana is, like I said, the Ring of Power, which I use in short spurts, so I don't really need to refill my mana with potions. But once we get more essences, that's going to become... Mana potions are going to become a lot more relevant, especially after we get the Dragon Spirit. Dragon Spirit is going to be the thing to... don't fall. It's going to be the thing to... force us to use mana potions more than anything else. And now, this is what I was mentioning earlier with the whole using the same mechanic that's been taught to you throughout the entire section of the game, is ring both bells within a time limit to cause the main bell to start ringing and drop him down so you can attack him. And you gotta do that twice. You gotta do that 2 times, and then that'll knock him down. Alright, I believe the bell's been reset, so I should be able to hit it again. Excuse me. Excuse me? Game? Would you like to... What can I, thank you. That was weird. Didn't let me hit the bell for a couple seconds there. It's a bit strange. But nevertheless, 2 consecutive bell hits. And that will knock him down. And... skadoosh. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Alright, so we're already at 30 minutes in the recording. Granted, some of that was me dying, and... some of it was me adjusting my controls, so I don't know how long the video itself is going to actually be, but definitely a longer section than the section from the first video. Especially because we're not actually done yet. Usually the level, or that was almost bad. The section ends after you kill the boss, but we've still got 2 levels to play, or 2 rooms to play, however you want to classify it. Bells, rooms, what have you. Still got 2 more things to get through before we can call ourselves done with this section of the game, and check, yep, we're good. Of course, any Dragon's Lair fan is going to recognize this room immediately as the elevator room, where Dirk steps on the platform and it just immediately drops below him. Now, tempting as it may be to get off this elevator right away, at the first available stop, you do not want to do that if you want the treasure, because there is a treasure on level 2, there is not a treasure on level 1 or 3. So you want to get off at level 2. If you want an extra challenge, you can get off at level 2, grab the crown, and jump back on the elevator to go down to level 3 to fight the Giddy Goons down here. Because there's 2 Giddy Goons, both of whom have crossbows, so you want a bit of a challenge. Okay, I did not block that successfully. That was not part of the plan. Hup, block that one, though. Come on, knock him off, knock him off. Bye-bye! Bye-bye, buddy! Nice knowing you, pal. Yeah, the smart thing to do is just to get off at level 2 and call it a day. But I like myself a challenge, so I got the collectible and then I fought all the Giddy Goons. Now this room's cool. Color-coded torches indicate which platforms are safe to jump on and which aren't. And currently I'm kind of screwed because none of them were, but heart container there. And then we jump onto the pillar to get some collectibles, and then I just sprint for the exit. Oh no! Okay, that was almost really bad. I could. Oh my!
Let you glide.
We don't. You know what? I almost died like 3 times there. I almost died like 3 times in 3 different ways. So my plan there was going to be to just run for the exit, because if you're experienced enough with this, you know that you don't always have to wait for the platforms to extend up, or for the platforms to stay there, I guess. Because if you're close enough, you can kind of just make a break for the exit. But I got caught, I got stuck for a second, so I had to quickly jump onto a blue platform to save my ass. Then, I almost died in the cutscene, but then Dirk ledge grabbed himself up onto the platform mid-cutscene. I don't know how I survived that, but I did, and we're not going to question it. Anyway, essences. Let's go. We now have the Dragon's Wing equipped, which lets us fly like an eagle. But as you can see, it drains mana a bit quicker than the Whirlwind Sword attack does, so to be used sparingly. But it's also going to be pivotal for the next section, and also, we couldn't even reach a certain section of the map until we got this, because we're actually going to backtrack now after I cross this gap. We're going to backtrack to where we started the episode off at, and then use the wings to access an area which we previously could not. But I really like that room. Really like that room. Nice, constantly evolving challenge in terms of having to jump across new platforms as the color of the torches change to make sure you always keep one jump ahead of the bread line and one swing ahead of the sword and all that. But that is sadly going to be where we end the episode for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I am still having a blast playing this game, and I can't wait to keep playing more of it. So that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time. I'll catch you all tomorrow for some more Dragon's Lair 3D Return to the Lair. Goodbye.